The focus of this lesson is Drupal's account creation. There are three main techniques in which accounts can be created on Drupal. Type 1, admin, or any role with correct permissions set can manually create an account. Type 2, the visitor creates an account by themselves. This is possible only if this is allowed by the administrator. Type 3, administrator can create accounts in bulk. For example, if you want to add 500 users to your website, you use this technique. This is possible through some external modules, and this is not a part of Drupal core. Please note, whenever I say admin can do some task, what I really mean is that any role with the correct permissions set can do some task. By default, the admin will have these permissions. So for the sake of brevity, I will say admin, but it could be any role that you have created with the correct permissions set. You already understand about roles and permissions from the previous lesson. Now we will start with the very first type of account creation, that is an admin creating an user account manually. Just travel to this people link on the admin menu. Observe this page for a moment. This page is semantically similar to the content page which you have seen earlier. You have a listing here of all the users already on the system. Then there are a few filters here which are helpful in searching and selecting users. You can perform certain actions on the selected users in bulk. If you are familiar with the content page from an earlier lesson, then this interface will be instantly recognizable to you. In fact, Drupal is going to use this interface all over the design. Just also notice that this is just one tab out of three. These other two tabs are for roles and permissions as you would expect. We will look into these other tabs in a coming lesson very soon. What we are really interested in now is this add user page, and I have opened it now. We are going to create a new user manually now. Start by filling in an email address and then the username and password. Passwords match, yes. Notice that there is a password strength indicator here, but it does not show any requirement rules. You can create the account with status either blocked or active. If you create it blocked, the user cannot log in for now and the admin will have to activate it again later. You might want to do this, for example, to wait for certain conditions, perhaps for a payment confirmation or something similar. Next is roles. What role will this new user have? Every account must have a role, and you must be aware that every user with an account will automatically be in the authenticated role. If you are not already familiar with this concept, see an earlier lesson in the same section about roles in depth. And you can add any other role if you want. Then if you check this box, a notification mail will be sent to the email provided earlier about account creation. Next up is a picture. You can set an optional picture here. There will be defaulted size limitations to the image. And then if the contact settings is enabled, any other user viewing your profile can contact you. And the final option is for locale settings. It will be defaulted to the site locale that you had set during installation process. And finally, when you are done, hit the create button and you will get a success message, and then you can head back to the listings page to see your new account has been successfully created. So far so good. Now for a note of warning. During the account creation, there is absolutely minimal sanity checking that is done by Drupal. I will show you what I mean by that by adding another user to the system. And see what I will do now. Here in the email, I am going to use a non-standard format. For the username, I'm just going to give a single special character. but Drupal will not complain. The account will nevertheless be created without any complaints. So let me hit the create new account, and we got a success message. We can see this user has been created. There is an external module called as a username validation, which can do validation for you correctly. Why does Drupal behave like this? Why did it not enforce more stringent checking? There are actually two reasons that I can think of, and both of them are related to Drupal core's philosophy and design principles. Firstly, Drupal has millions of installations. Drupal will not presume any validation for you. You can enforce validations according to your business goals and requirements. Secondly, Drupal core is kept as pristine and lightweight as possible. If something can be offloaded without impacting core functionality, it certainly will be. After we cover external modules, you will find how easy and powerful it will be to leverage them for all kind of functionality. Okay, now we will see user self-registration. And this just means a visitor creating an account by themselves if it is allowed. I have now switched the browser and I am not logged in right now. First click the login link, and the second tab that you see here is for create a new account. And this is very similar to the create user screen we just saw with lesser options. Notably, you have email address, username. The user cannot set their password upfront here on the screen. After they submit this form, they will have to first confirm their email account by a notification email that goes out to them, and only then they can create a password. This is just the default behavior on Drupal. Once again, you can add external modules that can change this behavior. And finally, here we have the password reset option for existing accounts. Password reset instructions will be sent to the registered email address of the user who is requesting this. This is standard, normal, typical behavior. And with that, I will conclude this lesson. You have understood there are three techniques to create users on the system. Admin manual, which we saw two examples, user self-registration, which we just now saw, and admin bulk creation. The bulk creation technique will be out of scope for this course, mainly because it uses an external module. In the next lesson, I will go in depth into the important topic of creating new roles and assigning permissions to them. So see you in the next lesson.